Can't even buy a home in private. Home invasions got my brothers dying. Notice every car that's driving by.
What's going on, you guys? Today we're going to do kind of like a current events video where we talk a little bit about hemp and cannabis and why I feel it's exploded into the mainstream and some of the things that I feel like might have helped it to get so mainstream and so popular. So we're going to dive into some of that stuff, talk a little bit about why I've started consuming it and some of the ways that I was able to connect with others, and just ultimately, a little bit about the community, a little bit about the industry, and just my takes on those subjects. So let's dive right into it. So I think one of the biggest things that we all need to talk about or discuss is how much cannabis has become kind of like a staple in especially North America, but also in other parts of the world, mainly talking about the United States right now. So I feel like right now when you talk about recreational substances, you talk about medication, if you talk about just overall the public and how people view cannabis has overall just become a lot more normalized. It's become a lot more used. It's just a lot less stigmatized than it has been in the past. And I think that a big reason for that is because of obviously legalization. You see a lot of places are starting to lessen their restrictions on hemp and cannabis. I think a lot of people are starting to now realize that it's not, the demon that everybody painted it out to be, in the 70s, 80s, more like the 40s and 50s. But yeah, overall, I think it's just a basic summary of the community has gotten to a point where we've all kind of been doing our cannabis and hemp thing in the background this entire time, and then you've got all of this legalization and some people getting involved in the industry that have all this money, and they're kind of normalizing it. So what happens is, now that it's legal, now that it's a lot more common to be found in, a legal place where you can literally just walk in and buy it, you've got all these other people who have also just been growing all their lives, smoking all their lives, consuming cannabis all their lives, that have all this knowledge, and they've been involved in the community for years. So now all these other people are kind of coming out of the woodwork with their own experiences about hemp and cannabis, and I think that's interesting. So now you go from these operations where it looks like something like this to operations that look like on these large scale, because obviously now you have all these businesses, all these industries, these companies that are involved, that are invested in this plan. So it's more than just this small, kind of mom and pop passion project that it used to be. So I think that is the number one reason. So another really big reason as to why I think hemp and cannabis has become so mainstream is because the education factor. I feel like this is probably the number one time for learning about hemp and cannabis. It's probably the most amount of money, research that we've thrown into it. Like, for instance, we've got people that are looking into how we can use hemp and cannabis for pharmaceutical drugs. I believe they've already converted something to make like a pharmaceutical version of CBD that they're prescribing people, and all sorts of different things. Like, obviously we've learned that we can convert different kinds of cannabinoids into other versions of cannabinoids. We're learning more about what kinds of cannabinoids are, safer than others. I think that's another big reason. Big reason I think that has always kind of been involved in hemp and cannabis is the connection and community aspect of it. There's always going to be a group of people who really enjoy the plant and are passionate about it, and it's really, I think, coming to the surface even more with social media. So it's easier to find these people that it may have been harder in the past, especially with the stigmatization kind of dwindling a little bit. You see a lot more people online posting and talking about hemp and cannabis, and I think that's awesome. So the more that we talk about it, the more that we all share our own experiences with it, ultimately the more that other people are going to hop on board and share their own experiences as well. I think a really big factor of hemp and cannabis and its kind of popularity is that a lot of people are on medication. A lot of people are switching from their medication to hemp and cannabis. A lot of people are kind of learning about this whole opioid epidemic and whatnot, and they're trying to get away from that. Hemp and cannabis is a really good tool for getting away from these prescription drugs. I can attest. I used to be on pills. I used to take a lot of different prescriptions of all kinds. Ones that help me sleep, ones that were supposed to help with my depression, ones that were supposed to help with my anxiety. Cut it all out. I said bye-bye. Thank you. You know what I mean? Thank you, hemp and cannabis. Seriously, it did help me a lot. So I think that's a really big reason as well, is that people are discovering that they don't have to be hooked on this garbage in my opinion. I don't like it. Doesn't mean it has to be, you don't have to view pills and prescription drugs as bad. I don't even necessarily view them as bad. It's just not something that I personally want to do anymore unless I absolutely have to, like I'm dying or something, So I understand that people sometimes have no other option. But yeah, I think this is a big reason. People are realizing that, oh, there's another option for medication, and that's hemp and cannabis. So another big reason, I think. So yeah, you guys, I think those are some really quick highlights as to why hemp and cannabis has kind of been pushed into the mainstream. Please share your own experiences as well as ideas as to why you think it's become so popular. I think those are some really solid key points to touch on, though. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm looking forward to chatting and hanging out with you guys some more. Peace.